So thanks for sending that out, Joe. I use. Wow, maybe I need to sign back in.
Well, either that or buy a better computer.
Well, if you get off dial-up,
What's that?
I think I will because everyone's frozen.
See if they give you a better routing on the second dial in. So,
All right, I think Steve, Steve, good morning. Okay, I've got 8:31. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Just to let everybody know who's new to the meeting, we do record this and then we publish it on through your email, so you'll get a copy of it. I did turn on the record button this time, which I forgot last time. Sorry about that. We would like to welcome some new attendees from Arizona Woodturners Association and from First State Woodturners in Delaware. And I think, Joe, you're there, Nestle Road. You and Chuck had met and we're aware of each other's clubs. So we've got a couple of attendees from the East as well. And by the way, it's a very interesting website, First State Woodturners, and they do offer associate memberships for $18 a year. So if you're out of state, and that's for the Prescott folks, if you have any interest. What we're talking about today is kind of a review of the 2026 AAW Symposium held in Raleigh. I think we have one, two, three, four people who attended and are going to discuss their impressions of the symposium. Any new information? I've got a couple of photos. Mark Oglesby attended. He could not be here this morning because he is under the knife as we speak, getting his hip replaced. So we'll wish him the best and contact him afterwards. Get this going. All right. Of the four people who attended, I think I have Bob, Chuck, Steve, and Steve. I'm looking through, I've got a foreshortened participants.
I'd be, I'd be curious if any of our guests also attended.
I
Joe, I know.
attended.
Yeah, I
I'm
asked
sorry.
before you got
Oh, sorry.
that on, and no one had, correct? No one else had
No, Joe
attended.
had been there.
And
Joe,
also,
okay, so we've got five
I
people.
was there also.
Oh, and Pat was there.
Mhm.
All right, excellent. Well, if I could just pick on somebody, Chuck,
No,
would you like to? No, okay, you're not going to do it. Well, do it
no,
anyway.
and I'll tell you why. Because when we did this discussion last year, I occupied like 30 minutes of it. So I'm gonna go last.
All right, I'm going to leave you to the end. I'm going to start then with Bob because Bob sent pictures.
Good morning to everyone.
Hey, Bob.
This is actually my first conference that I went to, symposium, and beautiful downtown Raleigh, and hot and humid, but it was very, very interesting, and I'm very glad I was able to attend. Um, we talked about a number of different things, met a number of different turners and attendees that I didn't know before this. Probably my best experience in terms of the demos was Mike Mahoney. He's quite a character and he definitely has some stories in between his turnings. So I'm not sure how he's able to do all that and still keep his mind where he wants to keep it. The area where they were selling items, the booth and so forth. Incredible stuff. I was able to get one item in particular I got a number of different sanding and abrasives and so forth, but I was able to get a Robert Sorby spiraling tool. I'm going to hold it up here. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. And that was 20% off. So
Wow.
some of the vendors offered vendor discounts. Others just sold at the regular suggested retail, and it was very good. So I'm very glad I was able to attend, and hope to get to Oklahoma City, which is the next one next year. I'm not going to be able to attend SWAT, which is the Southwest. What's the rest of the abbreviation there, Chuck?
Um,
Southwest Area Turners.
Area Turners. Thank you. Thank you.
Waco.
Yep, in Waco, Texas. So, yeah, if we can bring up the pictures, Bruce.
Right, Bob, that spiraling tool you have looks suspiciously like Ken's birthday present. Is that the same one, Ken, from last time?
It is the same thing as far as I know, yeah.
And from what I understand, Bob got a great deal on the price he paid for that.
All right,
I was
so
very fortunate.
I guess I
And we've
might
talked
hopefully.
about having a get together at someone's shop to kind of
Right.
just all experiment just on that tool. So
Yes, we are going to do that.
great,
All right.
Steve. Thank you.
I'll go into share mode. So if somebody could confirm to me, you see a poster and a bowl on your screens now?
Yep.
Excellent.
We got it. Now, I'm not sure if anyone has seen this on the internet before. It's been around for several years. This is actually 79 inches tall. It is the biggest turning I've ever seen. And Bruce, can you zoom in on the frame that shows some information and the progress of the turning as it goes along? 79-inch diameter, 11 species of wood, 1,580 individual pieces, and it took him 1 year to do. So it was quite an accomplishment. I'm still not sure I understand how he was able to do it. After having done some segmenting myself, I thought it was extremely interesting. To the right there, there is actually a booth underneath the a stool underneath the turning where you can sit and have your picture taken. Just to get a scale of how large this particular turning is. And it's incredible. Of course, it's 3D illusion type as well as segmented. So I was quite impressed by that. I don't know, has anybody else seen this before?
I was
No.
there and got my picture taken sitting on that bench. And my comment to Tom was next year he needs to make a 9-foot tall turned and carved spoon to go next to it.
Ah,
There you go.
Hey,
Exactly.
is that a floating bottom? I assume it is.
I believe it is. Yes. Yes. It's quite an incredible piece. All right. Can we shoot to the next one, Bruce? This, I was fortunate enough to be able to volunteer at two areas, the merchandise booth and the instant gallery, which is where these were taken. And I just took a number of different ones that I felt were very unique or special in their own way. And as you can tell, there's some carving and so forth involved in that, and quite an accomplishment in a lot of these turnings. Let's see. Underneath each one is a little brochure, if you will, that shows the information about the turners. You can't really see these ones in particular, but it was very unique, that's for sure. All right, can we hit the next one? These are quite an incredible assortment of, I don't know, you might have done from turning, hollowing from the bottom on these particular ones. I would think you would have to be able to accomplish what he's accomplished on this. But beautiful species and a lot a lot to show. All right, and
Actually, Kevin Jessiquel is known for doing those hollow forms through amazingly small openings, so they are not done from the bottom.
really,
Oh, is that
excellent,
Yeah,
Kevin's
he's
work?
out in the Portland, Oregon area.
excellent.
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram. It's amazing work.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
What kind of tool is he using to get this to hollow out this top area? I can't imagine any of my tools reaching that.
We might have to have him do an IRD for us.
There
Yeah.
you go.
He's got a
That'd be
specially
good.
Go,
designed tool.
Steve.
The other
Yeah.
interesting trivia is I sold my old stubby lathe to the president of the Portland Club, who, when he got another lathe, sold it to Kevin. So now I hope to see him turning such on my old lathe.
Mhm.
Wow.
Now, go ahead. Some of these turnings, they just sold, and others were not for sale for showing only, but they actually show the prices on the tags that they were looking for on these given items. I don't know how many of them actually sold, but there were about 1,000 attendees at this particular show. So it was a good show, and of course it's the 40th anniversary. So it's quite spectacular. All right, can we go to the next one? Anyone who has done segmenting knows what's involved in all of this. I don't know how many individual pieces were involved in these, but a couple of very spectacular turnings indeed. It turned out incredible. And the next one?
Yeah. And Bob, the one on the left is an open. That's open turn,
Yes,
open segmenting,
yes, indeed.
and this is closed.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
And a lot of piercing involved in these two pieces. These were quite a accomplishment. I envy a lot of these people that are able to do this, and the other thing is attending a symposium like this gives me lots of ideas of what I could possibly attempt to do myself. So it was well worthwhile. Anyone who has done piercing knows what's involved in something like this. All right, next one. This is actually a unique piece celebrating the 40th anniversary of AAW. And of course, this is all individual pieces and turnings, and it's very unique, that's for sure. All right, that's about all I have. I don't want to take up all the time.
One more.
Oh, one more, yes. And this is something that I would definitely go for myself also. One of our members, Dan Hall, is known for this sort of turning and carving. And these are just beautiful. The incredible amount of detail that's involved in all of these just inspires us to do more ourselves.
Yeah.
Any questions? Bruce,
Wow.
that's all I got right now.
All right. Thanks, Bob. The only other photos I got, I'll share, came from Mark Oglesby, and hang on just a second and I'll get this sharing going. Mark attended Mike Mahoney's demonstration. I believe this was a funeral urn, Bob, you attended?
Yes, that's
And
what that
Yes,
was.
exactly.
And that has got a screw on top, so it's a threaded top, is what Mark was saying. And he also was amazed that Mahoney could sit there and tell stories while he was turning, doing this kind of work, as if he had two brains in the entire thing.
Mhm.
From another standpoint, Mark presented this book that he said was a fascinating discussion on spalting, that rather than purchasing spalting, you can make your own. And I will try to remember to add in the email, because it's in a Word document, so it does not show up here, Mark's link to buying spalting fungi. So you can actually make your own spalted wood. I don't know how long that takes. Apparently there's different fungi, gives you different colors and appearances. I'll see real quick if I can bring up.
While you're doing that, I have a question. Has anybody dyed spalting like the front of that book had on the top? It fascinates me. It looks like the color will be contained by the perimeter around each spalting spot.
I've never seen it before. Has anybody else seen it?
No, I haven't done anything like that.
Hopefully you're seeing the Word document. So this should show up on our recording, and there in the center, Northern Spalting Applied Mycology Lab at Oregon State University. And apparently this can be purchased. As a quick aside, and I'll just ask people from the Eastern US, I was introduced to something here just last month called tap hole maple. I'd never heard of it before.
Tap hole maple. Wow.
TAP, tap hole maple. Anybody heard of that?
Yes.
You can purchase it. It's just maple trees that have been tapped for their syrup and then eventually taken down and sawed up into wood. And so you have about 3/8 inch holes through the wood. And this creates an opportunity for the fungi to get in. And you have that beautiful spalting, kind of looks like ambrosia maple, but with a 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch hole that has to be filled with epoxy. I'm doing some flatboarding, making a desk out of some of it. But I'd never seen spalted wood that basically was created just by a industrial process. All right. That is all the photos I have. I would ask other attendees if you would like to discuss some of your experiences in Raleigh.
Go ahead, Steve.
Steve?
I don't have as much to say as Bob did. I have a video that I created of all the pieces that are down on the floor, but I did not take individual pictures. I'm not very good at doing some of that stuff sometimes. But I can tell you that it was my first experience at going to an AAW symposium. I didn't know what to expect. I was overwhelmed with the diversity of everything that was brought in for displays, from every end of the spectrum of turning anything on a lathe. It just, I'd never even thought about some of this stuff. And so it really broadens your thought patterns. It gives you a whole lot of food to digest and try to think of, well, can I do that? Or can't I do that? Or should I even try to do that? But it really broadens what your thought patterns are as far as what you can do on a lathe. And the stuff that was down on the floor for sale, meeting people, that you sort of talk to when you talk to them when you make orders. I actually met a couple of people that I had talked to from Craft Supply. And it was really a good experience. Met let's see who else. One of our local guys down in Turner's Warehouse. I talked to him again when we were there. Let's see who else.
Chad Schimmel.
Huh?
Chad Schimmel.
Yeah, Chad. And uh, who else I talked to that was down there? Yeah, Mike. Well, Mike wasn't down there, but Kirk DeHere talked to him, which he's going to do an IRD for us, or not an IRD, is he's going to be in person IRD in September. So that's what we're looking forward to. The experience was pretty good. I had to put up with my roommate, but he had to put up with me. So fair is fair, I guess.
You're not offering any names?
Well, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but it was Steve Friedman, and we've known each other for quite a while, and obviously we're pretty good friends, and it was interesting, and we actually we met several of our people that were there, and then we went out to dinner several times. So, we almost got Bob Skaboo into some trouble when we went. We couldn't get Chuck to go with us. He didn't want to share time, but he had other priorities, and I understood that. But the symposium itself, seeing people in person, you watch it on YouTube is one thing, but seeing like Mike Mahoney, like everybody was saying, I don't know of anybody who can carry on a conversation with an audience and turn and not think twice about the conversation or the turning. I mean, it's like, he like breathing for him. It was very, very cool to watch him perform. And we saw, or I saw, a lot of very unique people. Hopefully, I'm staying in contact with a couple of them, so we'll see if we can have them do demos for our club.
How many big company vendors were there? You mentioned Craft Supply. Were they there?
They were there, but they were not selling anything. They had nothing on the walls. They were strictly selling out of their catalog. They were there to talk to you if you needed to talk to them. They weren't like all the other vendors were having all their stuff sitting there. And you still got, I think it was like a 15% discount if you ordered it from them, which I did. I bought a couple things from them. And so, yeah, there was probably, goodness sakes, I guess 100 different vendors, I'm guessing out, off the top of my head.
And Steve, you mentioned the different vendors being able to go face to face with them. A couple good ones were Trent Bosch, who had several hollowing systems available, and of course Carter and Sons. And I'll tell you what, those companies are great, both of them, and there were a lot of different vendors that were very eager to share information and be able to answer questions face to face. It was great.
Yeah, and I end up, I didn't buy a lot of things. I bought, I don't know if you remember the name Odd Knot. That's the company that sells the vacuum chucks and or the holders for work like a coal jaw. And I bought something from him, and he treated me pretty good. He treated everybody good. But yeah, it was very. I enjoyed it.
Do any of the lathe manufacturers show up at the symposium?
Well, I think let's see. I didn't see anybody, but
Nova was there with their new, very high tech lathe that it has a digital screen that basically does the turning for you. It was amazing how much information was on that new Nova lathe.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then of course Powermatic.
Yeah, Powermatic was there.
Trying to think.
Rycon was also there.
Oh, right, Rycon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's and like I said, I apologize. I didn't have pictures. I didn't feel that you really wanted to see a video of all the stuff down there. So I didn't send that to you. So I apologize, Bruce.
No problem. All right, Steve, thank you. Pat, you said you were down there. Do you have any comments of what was interesting to you?
This was my fourth one. I started with Louisville, and I guess I'm a volunteering type, so I volunteered, and I actually went up a day early each of the last four, and I coordinated with the two women from Conference Direct who interface between the venue and AAW. And I work vendor move-in every time. And the ulterior motive is I've gotten to know a lot of the vendors and, put out fires for them when they don't have the right electricity or number of tables and all. And that's been neat because now I'm on a first name basis with quite a number of them. I think there were 78 vendors this year. Um, the neat thing is I also, bounce around. I work some at the Instant Gallery with Linda Britt, who's pushing hard for me to take that area over when she retires soon. I'm My life's still
Well,
too busy to do that yet. I do that at the Mid-Atlantic. So I'll put in a word for the Mid-Atlantic Symposium in Lancaster. If you've never been, it's a good lineup this year. Anyway, I don't need to be advertising. Um, Troy Grimwood was a highlight, the fellow from New Zealand. And I went to his little lidded box demo. And Michael Anderson was great too. He's very artistic with his turning, creative. A lot. You see him on the forum with running the different challenges and all. And he was definitely a great draw. It was standing room only there. I always have a great time there. And the one thing that I would mention is if and when you go, approach these people. They're big names, Mike Mahoney and all the other, but they're very personable. They'll give you time. I've outright asked, how did you do that? And gotten a 20-minute discussion on how they approach different pieces and all. It was a great time.
All right, thank you. Joe, you were there?
Yes, it was
Any
also
comments?
my fourth symposium also. Yeah, it's always amazing just seeing all the variety of all the pieces there and going to the different rotations. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I if you want, I have some photos I could share from the instant gallery. Some I don't think they overlap anything that's already been shown. If you want to see them,
Yep, please do.
can I share my screen?
Do you have a share button down below? Can you do it
I
automatically, or do I
I
need to change
do.
something?
I do. I just didn't know how you had the settings.
Yep.
Let me see if I
Go
can.
ahead and we'll just confirm that it shows
No,
up.
it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Uh, Now, if somebody who's smarter about Zoom, Susan, do you have any advice how I can
You
transfer
can make
sharing to him?
me a co-host. That's probably the quickest way.
Uh,
Three dots, mouse over my
yep,
image.
three dots and make
Bruce,
co-host. Okay, you're there.
Okay, got it.
allowing others to share their pictures. So next session, you may need to look for that setting and allow others to share their pictures. For now, what he suggested is make him a co-host, should work well.
Right, and that's done.
Yeah. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Just
that's really cool.
just a few quick photos here. I thought this was really clever and cute. I actually made one of something similar quite a few years ago, but it wasn't anywhere near as nice as this one. Is it changing? Did the screen change for you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
this
got
piece
it.
was just phenomenal. I mean, this was quite large also. It was probably almost 3 foot high, or 2 to 3 foot high. I don't remember exactly, but it was quite amazing how this was put together, the whole concept of it.
that's Escalin, right?
I don't know.
Oh, and he received an award. I think he's passed away, but
Oh, yeah, I'm not
this is
sure.
in the pop gallery.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
these are all from the pop gallery.
yeah.
And Mark Severi did an excellent job of a retrospective sort
That's
of
what it was. Thanks,
about
Pat.
him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And I thought this little piece was interesting, the way that was done. And these are pieces by Molly Winton. I attended one of her rotations while I was there. The work she does with pyrography here. This, who is this?
Tom Windrose.
Tom Windrose. Okay, yeah. I thought that was just a really neat looking piece. The way, and you can't tell, but it's warped almost to an oval. Well, I guess you can tell, but yeah, it's really the way it obviously turned green and warped.
Hey, Joe, let me mention a
Yeah.
little bit about Tom.
Sure.
I think he's 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
He
19.
received, I'm sorry?
19, the young man from
19. Okay,
Ireland.
yeah. He
Oh,
just
wow.
started turning 40 when he was 16. He's from Ireland. He was granted free attendance, all expenses by the Irish Woodturning Association.
Oh, neat.
And I got to spend a lot of time with him because I went to his hotel to get something that Tib Shaw needed. Fascinating young man. He actually participated, and I was going to mention it, in a panel discussion with world-renowned artists, and he held his own. He was just amazingly articulate. His goal in life is to be a professional woodturner. I happened to be talking with him when Mike Mahoney walked by, and I introduced him to Mike because, as you can see, Tom is all about oak, and we all know that Mahoney's all about oak, and so they ended up having a nice conversation. But be looking for the name Tom Windrose. He actually received a number of awards at the symposium, and be looking for his name in the future. He is the future of wood turning.
Yeah, I see I see down here, I just noticed he's on Instagram.
Yeah,
If you're on Instagram, if you want to follow him on Instagram. Yeah, it's a really amazing piece there.
and one of his pieces was in the auction and went for $1,200.
Whoa,
So
awesome.
he was
Good for him.
just ecstatic.
I bet.
Yes.
Yeah. Janine Wang had a display of several pieces, mostly like little stools that she's made, and I thought they were really, really well done. And this was a couple of them. You can see there, one of them in particular. Janine's from this area. I actually have one of her pieces. I bought one of her pieces several years ago, a small piece.
Joe, do you have a picture of that piece to the left of that one?
I don't. No,
Okay.
that was really neat. It was like rollers.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like a little
So
stool.
my brother and sister-in-law were at the symposium and got to spend some time with Janine. They spent about 15, 20 minutes with her, and she took that off and had them sit on it. And they were amazed how comfortable it was because those rollers are eccentric. Is that the right word? They different centers. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
and so they roll, and you get a massage, and it's comfortable. But she is an absolute sweetheart, very, very, and her work is stellar.
Yeah, I took quite a few. I have several other photos that I took of her pieces that I don't have here. And but I took a bunch of photos of her work because this is something I definitely want to do. Is I have a bunch of slabs of different species that I want to cut rounds from and make make stools, little stools like this. That's definitely on my
That
to-do.
piece that I was referring to the left, I guess she is considering getting a patent on it and selling it to a mass manufacturer because it is so awesome.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
She was from this area. I think she's moved
Uh,
out to the West Coast.
and she was a pop featured artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's a this is I thought a really interesting piece. Japanese oak.
Yeah. Matt lives in Japan. He moved there about 20 years ago and now has a family and So it was pretty cool to have him come in. And so I had just returned from Japan, so I tried to share some stories, and he was, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't travel, and so it was kind of funny. But he ended up joining us at our table for dinner Saturday night. So
Oh, neat.
got to know him. Great guy, and as you can see, turning is half of what he does. The rest is a lot of carving.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of work went into this. And I'm trying to see who I can't see who this. Oh, Mike Tchaikovsky. This is a hollow form from Mike Tchaikovsky. I thought it was really stunning. This is I can't think. Her name is hidden here. She's been featured in the AAW magazine.
Yeah.
Her work with Yurushi Japanese finishing. It's just beautiful. The lacquer, the Yurushi
Aika
lacquer.
Tanaka.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just an amazing piece, and the finish is just phenomenal.
She was a featured artist in Portland.
Ah, yeah, she's also been featured in the magazine.
Oh yeah.
These I think I have yeah, here's the wide shot of this, these little flowers that she calls them. And I don't remember the artist. And again, this was also in the AAW magazine, I think the most recent issue. There's a close up. It's really a creative and cool little thing to make. And Mahoney, this is one of Mike Mahoney's platters. Beautiful piece. And there's a close up of the rim there where he did some carving around the bead there.
So clever.
Yeah, and it's he's some sort of oak, valley oak. Valley oak is that beautiful piece of oak.
Fully turns.
Joe Larice, just some spindle work there. A lot of focus, sorry. Some really cool off-center goblets. I thought those were really neat. And down on the left, you see some whale tail scoops. And that's it. That's all I got there. So
Fantastic. Thank you.
sure. I also picked up a few tools while I was there. I got if anyone's interested, just I got quick right here. I got some miniature hollowing tools.
Oh, geez.
They're really small. They're and this is Nicole Laurent Nicole. He's with Trent Bosch. I think he's married to Trent's daughter. So they're really small. It's a 3/8 inch shank here, but then this piece is a quarter or less. I'm looking forward to making some handles for those. And from Carter and Son, I got a really sweet little 1/2 inch skew that I liked. Make a handle for that. And also from Carter and Son, just a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. You can see that. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. I like the M42 steel that they use on their tools.
Joe, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Before I ask Chuck to talk, because he may go the entire end of the meeting, anybody else have?
Stop.
Well, I'm going to ask you to tell a story here that see if you'll share that one story with us. Anybody else have any questions? I was just wondering from all the participants, Pat, you said you did some volunteerism, and I did notice on the AAW website that segment of volunteering. It looks pretty easy to do. Any comments on other areas where people can volunteer their time and effort for AAW?
there's quite a lot of different volunteer opportunities. And if you go and sign up, there's an app on your phone which gives you the full schedule, all the different areas. You can select different time slots, and it'll even send you a reminder, so 15 minutes before, so you don't forget.
All right, and here's kind of a dangerous question. Anybody have any good barbecue? None? Southern barbecue? You
At
missed,
the symposium?
forgot, well, dinner at night, lunch. For
Yeah,
God's
we
sakes,
went.
go back to Raleigh.
Well,
I heard,
Bob had some good barbecue, he said, when we went down to the restaurant. Didn't you, Bob?
Yes, I'm trying to think of the name of that restaurant. It had Louisiana style. Oh, the Big Easy
Big
is the
Easy.
name of it.
Yep.
And it was very good. Had some ribs, outstanding. And of
Yeah.
course, washed it all down with some beer.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I didn't make it to Raleigh, but I was in Durham the week before, and wow, did we have some good barbecue down there. So, all right, Chuck, I was going to ask you any comments you have, but I was wondering whether you might share with the group kind of the end of the story with your cousin.
Yes. Before I do that, and I will, I'd like to follow up on Pat and the whole volunteer aspect. The symposium isn't all about trade show, instant gallery, pop gallery, and demos. It is truly an opportunity to get involved with the community. And I think my experience last year and this year by volunteering has really heightened my appreciation of our fellow Turners and the AAW organization. And by being involved, it just truly heightened my appreciation of the whole thing. Dave, we definitely want to get to you, but Dave Madden is a member of our club, and he and his wife Sue lead the volunteer effort for the symposium. So Mr. Madden deserves a heck of a lot of kudos for the amount of work that he puts into making these symposiums work. Um, the the volunteering that I did, I got there Tuesday night, so Wednesday morning I was available to Dave, and he just made me his gopher. And one of the highlights of my volunteering, and I wouldn't have had this opportunity had I not volunteered, was to help set up in the pop gallery. And so there I was with Donna Banfield, world renowned artist, unwrapping these incredible pieces of art that nobody can touch except I could, because I had to unwrap them and put them where they needed to go. So, and then to have Donna's input as I was doing it, she knows a lot of these artists, she knows their work. So she was giving me all this background information. It was the highlight of the symposium for me. And it wouldn't have happened had I not volunteered. So it was, I got to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So getting there a day early, there's always something to do. And I think Pat mentioned that, helping with the vendors. It's just really amazing. I helped set up in the youth area. It truly was amazing. So I think I put on a lot of miles, and that was one of the downsides to the convention center was it was way spread out. So you definitely the distance from the instant gallery to the farthest um, demo room seemed like a mile. It was a long way, but we got our exercise. But the story that Bruce is referring to has to do with a couple years ago. I'll give the real Reader's Digest version. We had a cousin of mine who was, I believe, 8 years old or 9 years old at the time, who was suffering from what, Bruce?
Acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
Yeah. And so I asked her mom, who I've never met, but she's my first cousin once removed, are you aware of the Beads of Courage program? And they live in Durham. So they were getting, Harper was getting her treatment at Duke. And so Heather's response was, yes. And Harper has so many beads, she doesn't know what to do with them. So that's, talk about a perfect response. So Bruce, who's the coordinator of our Beads of Courage program, sent her one directly. And Harper was just ecstatic. We have pictures of her opening her bowl. Then we invited her to attend our meeting via Zoom. And I think that was October of 23, possibly 24.
I want to say 4, but yeah.
4, yeah. Anyway, so what was nice about it was, the Beads of Courage program is all about confidentiality. You don't really get to know who's receiving your bowl. Well, here's a way that we got to close the loop. So I took the opportunity of being in Raleigh to invite Heather and Harper for dinner. And so I got to meet them. And one of the things I mentioned in our newsletter is at one point I said to Harper, so when you look back at your horrible experience 20, 30 years from now, what are you going to remember? And she says, I met some really nice people. And, it's mind-blowing to have that type of perspective in life. She has raised thousands and thousands of dollars for cancer research. She and her mom are developing housing that will be available to families, kind of like a Ronald McDonald type thing for families that are having their children there at Duke University. See you, Rick. Good to see you. So, and Heather quit her job, is now running this foundation for this housing called Harper's Homes. So it just has been an amazing story. And I got to connect with some relatives I had never met. My brother and sister-in-law were down from New Jersey, so we got to spend some time with them too. So that was another
I was going to
nice aspect.
Just add, some of you might have seen Harper at some point. She was essentially adopted by the Duke men's basketball team.
Right.
And then she became good friends with Dick Vitale while he was going through his cancer experience. And Mom Heather she was in marketing, wasn't she? She understood the power.
Yeah.
I think they were up in the $50,000 range of funds raised attributable to Harper. So I was hoping that at some point we might be able to have you sneak a picture of Harper from your cousins, and just for the club to be able to see the great benefit of Beads of Courage. It was kind of nice to have story closed loop.
Yes, it is nice to close the loop. Unfortunately, they're on my phone and not on my computer. So anybody interested in our newsletter? I think, Joe, did we send you our newsletter? Oh, okay. So Joe got to see the picture. Yeah. So maybe you could, if you wanted, you could share those with the rest of the club. Let me talk about a couple of things. My impression of the symposium and the artists who are there, they have specialties. And it's amazing. When I left St. Paul last year, I thought, I need a specialty. And what I realized is I don't want a specialty because it gets boring. And so I applaud these artists who can do the same thing all the time and make it special, and then they make their money on their demos. I can't do it. I've got to try new things. And I think, like Steve said, you come home from the symposium, all you want to do is try all these different things. There's not enough time for doing all the things that I want to do. But I guess if I turned like Mahoney, who could do a complete threaded urn in an hour and a half, I probably could try a lot of different things, but I'm not that fast. Pretty amazing. I would say one of the downsides of the symposium was the banquet. Probably the worst $75 I've ever spent in my life. Hopefully they improve it next year. It was quite the disappointment. They ran out of food. It seemed disorganized. Never really knew when it was over. It just kind of stopped. So unless there's major improvements guaranteed, I will not be going to the banquet again. That was not a good experience. Molly Winton, Joe, you showed some pictures from Molly. I went to a couple of her demos because I'm really into pyrography. But you know what I learned? There is a difference between a burner and a shader. And Molly is not a shader. She's a burner. And so when I went to try to get some advice on shading, she says, Chuck, you're talking to the wrong guy. I can't help you with that. You want to know about burning? I can help you with burning. She's making all these beautiful specialty tips and her work is amazing, absolutely amazing, but it's binary. It's black or it's not. And so that was kind of interesting, but I really enjoyed her. I did do two things that I've never done before. I went to a panel discussion, which was on the art versus craft discussion. I really don't remember a thing about what was said. I remember being impressed at the time, but I walked away with nothing. I guess I should have taken notes like I was in a lecture. But very, very eloquent. And Tom Windros was in that discussion. Tib Shaw was in that discussion, and Tib is the what's the word?
Curator.
Curator. Thank you. Duh. She's the curator of the AAW art, and interesting person, very professional. She knows what she's doing, and I'll leave it at that. But she was in the discussion too and had an interesting perspective. She's got a very interesting background. I showed this at the last Chips and Grits. Oh, let me take off my background. Well, I guess I can show it. This is Neil Turner's Poor Man's Hollowing System. And $60 for the zip ties, and the tool was free. The what this does is, by this sitting on your tool rest as the tool is inside the bowl, prevents the tool from torquing, and the little zip tie is when your bowl is thick, the zip tie is going to be riding up on the bowl, and when you finally hit the thickness that you've designated, then the zip tie goes straight. Works great. I've tried it once. It works as advertised. My only concern is I need to put a flat spot on the tool where it connects with the set screw, because it tends to want to rotate. And two, I noticed that the zip tie does wear. And so you got to keep an eye on that. You may think you've got the right thickness, but you haven't, because it's rotated. But anyway, Neil Turner.
The suggestion I heard before you get away from that is take your Sharpie and put a line on the end of the zip tie, and when you see the color disappearing, you know you need to put a new one.
That's a great idea. Just the simplest things. And, you know, that's kind of what I liked about it. It was just such a simple solution to, when you look at the Jameson or the Bosch, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and here this was 60, and it works. I'm very, very pleased with how it works. And
The name
looking
again?
forward.
The name again?
It was Neil Turner is the guy who, but truly, I actually looked at the one he passed around. I thought I could make this. But then when he said I'm selling them, I thought, well, that's one less thing I have to do. The one that he actually used in the demo used a piece of metal here that was kind of flexible. And he said, okay, here's your fine tuning. You can bend this back and forth. This one is obviously not bent, but it's a pretty simple concept that you can make.
And it's a cup cutter on the. It's a cup cutter, right? What? Who's cup
actually,
cutter?
it's how do I? Let me see. It's no, wrong one. It's a carbide and it's flat. You could do a zero clearance, I assume. Not zero clearance. Negative rake. 2, that would work. But I rarely use this tool because I find it so hard to control because of its aggressiveness and likelihood to get a catch. You don't get a catch with this. It just doesn't happen. So I think fabricating it would be kind of fun.
I use mine to do ornaments that Mike Blankenship made out of acrylic. You can get it on the inside of it. The only recommendation I have is use a negative rake scraper.
Yeah, I think I better do that. Thanks, Jim. Because it's aggressive. It's very aggressive. Let me see. I enjoyed Mark Gardner's handled ball, and kind of interesting when I was looking at last October's issue of Woodturner, American Woodturner, to look at Joe's article about. No, I'm sorry. This is June of 25. Never mind. Forget what I just said. I don't know why I grabbed this one. Anyway, it's June of 25. He's on the cover, and the key thing that I think I've always thought about, obviously those handles have to be cut off. I resist doing any woodworking other than embellishing that can't be done on a lathe because I don't want to sand it. And the thing with Mark's balls, he doesn't sand them. He likes the bandsaw marks on that handle. So I thought, well, there's a solution. Just use the tool mark as a feature. One of the highlights for me was getting to spend some time with Kurt Theobald. Kurt traveled through our area last year, and I had made a contact with him because I had access to an incredible amount of alabaster. And Kurt is a great alabaster turner. So I loaded him up with about 800 pounds of alabaster, got to know him, and he has, I still have a bunch of alabaster, and he challenged me to turn it. So I've made a couple pieces with alabaster. Kurt has sent me an email with all sorts of do this, do this, do this, do this, really helpful guides. If anybody's turned alabaster, it is one of the dirtiest things you can do. You're basically creating drywall dust. And it is, I got access to another lathe a guy gave to me for free. And I said, that'll be my alabaster lathe. I turn outside. I think people think my house is on fire because of the dust that blows off of it. My wife doesn't like the fact that the dust does land on some of the plants, and we don't get a lot of rain, so it stays there for a while. But it is the funnest thing to turn, being that there's no grain, no catches. It's like turning hard soap, is the way I describe it. It is just fun and gorgeous. Comes out great. So I definitely plan on doing more of that. And then,
And if Chuck calls any of you, if Chuck calls any of you and asks for your 100-foot extension cord, it's because Patty has moved him out to the corner of the pasture as far from the house as she can get him.
yeah, probably. Good point, Dave.
Stay tuned for that one.
Yeah, that'll probably happen. My last thing I want to mention, that I want to give Dave Madden some time, is Dennis Belcher. Both Steve and I just thought Dennis Belcher was the best. Steve is our program chair, and Steve attended his demo on how to do demos. So Steve got a lot of tips on doing that. But then we also went to his demo on doing some narrow vase. I forget what he calls it, but it's about shaped like this. And that's his specialty. He's made thousands of them. And I think if I could make two, I'd be happy, but I wouldn't want to make a third. But an incredibly entertaining, informative, like Mike Mahoney, constantly talking and just filled with information. So Steve has already contacted him for an IRD for next year. So we're looking forward to having Dennis Belcher.
If I could jump in for just a minute, talking about Mark Gardner, I did a week-long workshop with him at the Center for Furniture Craftsmanship in Maine, and the concept is using an additional tool, the bandsaw, and this may
look at
familiar. Yeah, it's the one that. This is one of the two that we did. But the interesting thing, he showed me a lot. I learned a lot that I've incorporated in my turning in using a bandsaw. But another guy who was in that particular workshop was John Beaver. And that's where he got the idea to bandsaw the wavy bowls. And so that was a really good demo. And he's a good guy. I'm happy you had an opportunity to see him.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Dick, you were there for the birth of an idea.
Yeah. Well, more than one is I had my ideas, and certainly John did. A good
For John, that's amazing.
demo. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Hey, Dave, we got to hear from you.
I can't get a word in edgewise. You've been busy. Well, I want to take a few minutes first to thank Pat and Chuck, because they were both special people along the lines of volunteering. Because Pat has been there, as he said, I think 4 years. I think his first year of volunteering was our first year of trying to get volunteers. And Pat's one of those indescribable volunteers, because he is just there to help, and it doesn't matter where. And I kind of talked Chuck into coming early this year, and we were considering bringing him in Tuesday, and he was considering doing that. And I'm glad we didn't, because Pat can attest to, we had a couple of glitches on Tuesday. The trucks that he's there to help coordinate the unloading weren't there yet. So that's one of the challenges of our volunteering job. In getting volunteers, we schedule all the volunteers. My wife does. And the people that were scheduled to work on Tuesday early, there was no work for them to do, because we have to wait for the semis to show up, and they're coming from every which direction. They're coming from Powermatic's home in Tennessee. They're coming from Minnesota, the AAW's home, and other places. And they have to be coordinated to get there on time to use our volunteers properly. So we had our panic time because we had volunteers with nothing to do. And then, of course, when the trucks did show up, we had work without volunteers. So Chuck agreed to do something for me this year, and that was you just sign up to be in the volunteer booth and we'll put you where we need you. And it's going to be at the last minute, and it could be doing anything. And Pat, I think you could appreciate this because you probably know Tib fairly well. And I thought Chuck would be the ideal person to work with Tib. So the first thing I did, and this was before anything even started, the first thing I did was introduce him to Tib and send him down, or my idea was to send him down to help Tib set up the special exhibits area. And I know you've developed a good, close relationship with the Instant Gallery with Linda. And I thought getting Chuck into the other gallery will be perfect. Well, I took him down for the big introduction, and we're standing there with one of Tib's white pedestals, and Chuck, I won't say leaned on one, but he put his hand on one.
Right.
And he got a real quick indoctrination on Tib Shaw. So it was a little bit humorous, but that was pretty much how he and Tib got along, I think, for the rest of the symposium. However, I sent him back for to actually do the work and hope he and Tib could make up. And he ended up working with Molly and I believe enjoyed his time there. And he certainly got an insight to some things that most of the rest of us never see. Yeah. Again, Pat and Chuck, those kinds of volunteers are just, you can't describe it, the amount of help that it does to put that symposium on. And we had over 200 volunteers, around 200 volunteers, and probably 3 or 4 times the number of actually volunteer activities, because most people that once they've volunteered, and Bob, this is for you and Steve, once you volunteered, you see the positives from that. And the next year when you come back, you're probably going to volunteer for more than one place.
Absolutely.
So
it was great.
I think, Bob, I think you already did. You volunteered for a couple of different things.
Yeah, merchandise booth and instant gallery.
Yeah, and the suggestions that I gave both of those guys was to do something where you're not really like in the instant gallery, you're not part of the learning of the symposium, but you're working in an area where you see all of the instant gallery, and most people never get a chance to see the whole thing. So there are places where you can volunteer and learn. Another one is with the youth turning. A volunteer in the youth turning learns how to work with the kids and what things to do and what things not to do. And by doing that, they can take it back home and use that at their own club to do youth turning and turning like at the fairs and so on. So there's a lot to be gained. And I'm sorry to hear that Chuck's experience in the help me, Chuck, not the planned demonstrations, but your
The panel discussion. Yeah.
Pardon?
The panel discussion? Is that,
yeah.
Yeah.
And those sessions sometimes are really good and sometimes they are not so good. So it's a chance for you at the symposium just to do something a little bit different. And sometimes it comes out really well and sometimes you don't learn a lot. One thing we've learned, and Pat can attest to this, every year there are glitches and there are people like Chuck and like Pat that if they aren't there, that symposium is a train wreck. So for those of you that are going to attend Oklahoma City next year, keep those things in mind and share your experiences with some of the other club members and get a few more of our club members there. That's going to be an easy trip right down I-40. So some people can drive it, and those of you that fly it, we'll see all of you there too. I didn't make a lot of the demonstrations, but I did go to one of Molly Winton's, and I was somewhat impressed. And then after I observed it, I kind of wondered if that was a good idea. But she had, I'll say 100, I don't know how many, lots and lots and lots of her little things that were probably, I don't know, 2 inches down to 3/4 of an inch or so that she had embellished. She had turned and then embellished, and she handed them out to be passed around. So basically her, and she would, before she started turning, she would walk down or embellishing, she would walk down the side of the room and hand out, I don't know, dozens of her pieces to be passed around. And I thought that was really a cool idea. And then, and it's the first time I've ever seen that, and passing that many items around. And then I realized about midway through her demo that people were paying so much attention to the pass arounds that they weren't really engaged with her. So that's the kind of learning that you get, or observations you get by attending the symposium. And I'll share the one thing that Chuck already mentioned, and that is that venue seems to be a really nice venue, but boy, you better have on your track shoes. And if you need the use of an elevator, good luck.
Yeah.
Because there's an elevator, there's a couple of elevators there. First of all, they don't have, I don't know how many elevators there are, but every one you get in doesn't go where you want to go. It may go halfway. So you can go halfway. You can go from floor 1 to floor 2, and then you go looking for the elevator in floor 2, and it's not in the same area. It's down the hall a little ways. And you get on the elevator in floor 2, and you get to go all the way up to floor 3. And by the end of the day, Chuck and I were still shaking our heads because I don't know that we ever did figure it out. We did know which elevator to go to get to a couple of our places, but there's a lot of elevator dead ends.
Good point. I forgot about that.
Pardon?
I forgot about that. Yeah, our elevator experience was.
How could you? So I don't know. I haven't seen enough about the Oklahoma City one yet. I was hoping we would see some drawings today, but our meeting has been canceled. So I'm anxious to get there because that's a different area and a different venue that we haven't seen. So I'm anxious to see that. And Jim Bowman, I want to throw in a plug for, in fact, you're going to have to help me. This little discussion period that we're having, Jim attends or is part of the Lancaster Woodturners Coffee Hour.
Oh, wow.
I believe it goes on about once a week, once a month, once a week. And every one of you, if you haven't toned in on them, at least catch one of their old ones, their recordings. And there's a lot to be learned with those guys. They've got in fact, my demo for the Prescott area folks next couple of weeks from now will incorporate something from one of their geniuses named Jim Duxbury. And you can see Jim smiling from that, because Jim is just as amazed as everyone else. There's a guy that's just he just does some very, very interesting, cool stuff.
Yeah, and I have to share the first name with him, so he's become Dux in the group, and I become Bowman. So we get the right Jim. Yeah, Thursday mornings at 10 o'clock. I was so glad that you guys didn't start till 11:30 for us in the East, because it runs 10 to 11. And I wanted to make sure I got through that. And John Kelsey is the host, but I'm co-host with John along with another gentleman to just keep it moving along smoothly. Yeah, you're welcome. It's a free, we're in 312. Today was, I think, 312. So that's how many meetings we have. It started in COVID in 2020, and still going on. International guys from all over who attend. It's a great experience. Thank you for your plug.
And John and Jim run a really tight ship. So if you happen to be ready to do your demonstration or your presentation, let's say you're going to show what you got done last night, beware that if they say you got 45 seconds, it's because you've got 45 seconds. When they hit the end of their timer, they cut it off and everybody goes away. So they run just a heck of a show. In fact, I think I got Chuck hooked on at least looking at them a while back, and Chuck and Spence and Bruce and several of us got together and watched one of them. And I think we were watching the recording, obviously, but there's a lot to be learned from these guys.
Yeah, John Kelsey's really the spark plug of that. He runs a tight ship, like you mentioned, and but he has a wealth of experience and information because of his history in the publishing business for woodworking stuff. And so we've had some interesting guests, and we have lots of people from all over. So
Jim, help me with the guy, Doug, that does the nested spheres.
You're talking about Doug Reeser?
Yes.
Doug turns the smallest things on his Powermatic and some other stuff.
He has a hollow sphere that's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches in diameter. And then inside it are 6 more or whatever number, I'm not sure. Anyway, they keep going down and down and down and down until you get one about the size of a small marble.
A pea.
And they're all hollow.
Yes.
Anyway, there's some amazing stuff out there in our seeing some of these guys. And another plug for that neighborhood, the Pennsylvania, Maryland, back Northeast. They put on a very good regional symposium. Help me, Jim. What's the
Mid-Atlantic it's a Mid-Atlantic. It's in September. I think it's 23 and 24 this year. It's in Lancaster. Used to be downtown Lancaster, PA, but this year it's out on the what we call the Strip, where the tourist hotels are, and I forget the name of the hotel. Mid-Atlantic Woodturners Symposium, Mawatsa or something like that. And Mid-Atlantic.
They say Mawatts, and it's at the Wyndham out where all the outlets are on
Thank
Route
you,
30.
Pat. You know well about that, so that's
I
for us.
I run the instant gallery there and also the raffle sales. So come volunteer and help with us too.
Yeah, I know they're always lobbying for volunteers there, particularly for their cameras for the demonstrations. Yeah, this year we have some really good ones too, and I don't have it in front of me, so there's some really good stuff. Hey, by the way, just a quick question: was Barbara Dill at the symposium? Do you guys know Barbara Dill as the off-center turning lady? I don't know if she was at the symposium or not in Raleigh. So
I did not see her, but it didn't mean that she wasn't there. I don't know.
okay.
I can look that up for you, Jim, if you need to know.
That's all right. I just wondered. I was gonna come, but things didn't fall together right. So.
Well, Dave, thank you for your input on the volunteerism. We'll see if we can get you some more volunteers for next year. I
need another Chuck to volunteer, so we could have a whole separate volunteer group. We could have Pat for the vendors, and we could have Chuck for the special galleries. We could use another one for the tool room.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Any other comments about the symposium? Anybody have any other little tidbits they want to share?
I just want to say thank you for inviting us from the East Coast. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you're very
definitely.
welcome.
Thank
We're
you.
glad to have everybody here, and I hope you continue to attend. One of the things I ask at the end of every meeting, if you have some subject matter you're interested in, please feel free to just email it to me, and it's very simple, just Bruce Peak at Gmail, and it's PEEK, Bruce Peak at Gmail. And then when we do have these meetings, if you send me your photos, I can make you co-host like we did with Joe, or I can present them for you. Just send them to me in an email.
Do you
And
have
the videos or the recordings of these are on our public YouTube channel. So you either can search for us on YouTube or go to our website, and there are links there as well.
for this meeting?
Yes.
Because I work closely with Dennis Belcher on some of his video stuff, and he's obviously going to want to hear all the wonderful things that were said about him today.
Yes.
Yep.
So, do you have a
then he'll give us a discount.
Do you have a transcription of this or just the video?
Just the video.
Okay. I didn't know if you were using the AI transcription or not. So
No, we actually turn it off.
I understand.
Yeah, it was kind of more annoying people than beneficial, so it's just the recording, and it'll be out. It's usually out in about 24, 48 hours.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and spread the word to your fellow members that if you got something out of this, that hey, let's get some more.
Thanks.
And I think one more point, Bruce. If you are interested in continuing to participate in this, go back and even just look at the titles of our prior meetings, and that might say, "Hey, I'd like to do that one again." We do repeat, and but we're always looking for new things or repeat. Like the one that we do a number of times. What's new in your shop? Because we always like showing off our new stuff.
Okay, in the vendor area, I was also helping at one of the booths, and that is Paul Poxtelis with Transpiration Turning. He does the lathe engraver, which is an add-on CNC for your lathe. And he would probably be willing to come and do a demo. So I'll check with him on that.
Great.
Did you get that, Steve? Did you get that? Did you understand what he just said?
Steve, did you get that name?
I did not. What was it?
What's the name, Pat? You're on mute.
You're muted.
Pat, you're on mute.
You're muted, Pat.
Sorry, Paul Paxtelis, Transpiration Turning.
Paul
And
Paxteris?
I'll put it in the chat so you got the spelling.
We try to keep it to there you go, Steve. We try to keep it to an hour, but obviously we went a little long today.
Yeah, as I put in my note, an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Again, we open it up at 8:15, but the meeting won't start till 8:30.
Yeah.
So if you want an optimal position on my square gallery, signing room.
Has anybody started using lasers to embellish their turnings?
I use it on my bottom just for my maker's mark and signature.
Nicely put.
Yeah. But Jim, I am really interested in how to incorporate them together. I just bought a roller, so I'm trying to think how I can laser on round things that would go in my roller for my laser. But I'd love to incorporate laser CNC with my lathe. It's just, I love them all.
That would be a discussion for a coffee hour. The role
Yeah.
of lasers and CNCs and all that. Wait a minute, where's the chisels and the lathe? You know.
Yeah.
Well, down in
Yeah.
the Arizona club, I've started a Zoom session for lasers and wood turning. And yeah, a lot of people start out with doing the bottom with their medallions, like
Yeah.
I did, with a laser pecker. Now that's its name if you don't know.
Yeah.
Laser
Yes.
pecker. I don't know who chose it, but not only do I do that, I also have a Creality Falcon Pro. In fact, I got two of them that I use to embellish stuff. And this month, I'll probably be showing a couple of platters that I do. Can you highlight me? I've got some of them right beside me. Okay.
You
Yes.
are highlighted. Yeah.
Hang on, you want to share?
Oh, you're
All
on
right.
mute, Pat or Jim.
I made you co-host, Jim. You can share now.
Wait, Jim, you're on mute.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to share. Oh,
There you go.
There you go.
Uh-oh, you gotta have your folder open first. You're gonna prove me wrong?
Wow. I love it. Jim, are you on mute again?
He is.
Jim, we're not hearing you.
Wonder if there's.
There you go.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yep, that's better.
Okay. This is something I did for this last month, and I learned a lot from it because it's all laser engraved to a depth, and then I filled it with acrylic, and I didn't put it in a pressure pot, so I've got stuff in there.
Can you enlarge that? I think if you either use the slider or the arrow. So we get, yeah, thank you.
Wow. That is gorgeous.
Which leads me to a question. Has the epoxy come up in the symposiums at all or not, or is that still verboten?
Jim, you're back to mute.
I think if you just hold down your space bar.
There you go. Am I unmuted now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The problem I had with this, and it's really hard to see, the epoxy had bubbles in it, as you well know. And I learned that if I'm going to do something like this, I should put it in a pressure pot. Now, there's actually three different colors here. There's a gold, there's a red, here and here, and then there's this pattern here. I mean, the idea is unlimited, and I'm using a couple different lasers. Let's see, close this. How do I want to close this? Bear with me
I
here.
will mention, I'd forgotten that I had done something. I took a bowl that had a nice rim on it, and we're participating in a Celtic fair at the end of September. And so I put triquetra Celtic symbols all around the outside of it, and probably doubled its value.
Here's another one of the early things that got me excited. A guy took me jeeping, and so I made this for him, and did the inside with a laser pecker, and the outside was Paul Howard tool, and then a Jacoby melding and stuff. Let's see. I hate to steal the show here.
We
Here's
could do
another one.
Whole nother meeting on this.
Here's another one that you can see the piece of the tape to give you an idea of the size of it. It's about 8 or 9 inches in diameter. But the real thing I'm trying to say is it's another tool. Like the lathe is a tool, the laser is a tool, and you can do a lot of things with it, and there's a lot of caveats with it. Oh, what else have I got here? Got that, I got that.
One of the things that's missing is what we call a profile shot. I always like to see what the profile is, whether it's round or whatever, and how it sits. So
I thought about that, but it was like just getting a picture up. Now here is an idea that I tried to convince. If you have a laser and you have a ball with a crack in it, now this takes a laser with a little bit more power, but everybody's used to doing the butterfly, and the guy in Hawaii sells the butterfly jig with a few butterflies, and then you go to buy some more, and you find out that he's really making his money on the butterflies. But if you look here, these are all inserts I put in on the simulated crack. So if you and a Band-Aid, if you want to do that, it just opens a door up for all types of stuff. So I'll be quiet. That's Jim for a while, and I'm gonna.
I have done inlay with my laser. Never thought to incorporate it. That's brilliant.
And there was a guy down there. I'm from the Arizona Club. I gotta. Can you unspotlight me? I'm trying to close this share stuff.
Let's see.
Oh, there we go. There you go. So there's a guy in the club that was doing segmented small pieces, and he built a segmented vase. His name's Paul Noel, I think. So I'm still at heart a woodturner. I just have another tool to embellish. And what got me going to say something today when you said about Molly Winton and she just does burn. With a laser, you can do that green out if you know what you're doing. And so, and just one note is not only, I have the laser peckers, and and a lot of things on that one. I have a Creality laser, but the product I'm doing this with is called, oh, one of those senior moments, Lightburn.
Right.
And Lightburn's turned out to be one expletive deleted tool. I mean, just phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable.
it has a learning curve, but
Yeah.
it's not a terrible learning curve.
Right. And if you have a question, there's an answer out there for it.
Support's unbelievable.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
You
Jim,
have time for shorts.
You've given us an excellent idea for a future topic, and I've got it
Yeah,
written
I think
down.
that's what we need to do.
I will incorporate it, so we'll do a whole discussion on this at some point in the future.
You mean you're going to let me come back and annoy people?
No, we're going to make you present.
Short story on Lightburn is I'm in Central Illinois, and they had their first Lightburn conference in Peoria, Illinois, and it was $60, something like that. And I registered for it, but on the way over, all I could think of, this is a scam. Okay, I'm going to show up to the counter, and the guys then laugh at me and say, "You did." This is the short version. I showed up, walked in the doors, and there's probably 500 to 700 people there with vendors, and it was just phenomenal. And so, that's how I really got started. I'm done, guys.
All right.
All right, thank you. Well, we're getting near the end of our time, and I found Zoom does cut us off pretty strictly when we hit the end at 10:15. So I'll just say thank you, everyone, for participating. We'll look forward to the Phoenix and East Coast folks joining us in the future. We do try to publish the topics a week in advance, so you'll know what it is we're talking about. Any questions anybody has as we end?
Do you have an email distribution list for getting notices about these?
What we're doing is we send everything out to each member in our club. We send a note to Richard January with Arizona Woodturners. He distributes to that club. And we send a note to Joe Nesselrod at First State Woodturners, and then he does the distribution to that club.
Great.
So that's our
from Joe,
current
then.
distribution method, and I'm sure it will change and grow, but right now that's kind of the easiest way. By adding those two individuals to our permanent list, it gets out to the clubs.
It would be
Great.
nice to have
Thank
it
you.
sent to the Lancaster Club as well. We're all kind of mixed together out here on the east. So
Jim, can you send me a contact person and a name and an email address to Bruce Peak at Gmail?
how you spell Peak?
Peek.
Okay, Bruce Peak
at Gmail, and then I'll make sure that we get it added to Kathy Allen's our secretary. She'll get you added to our list.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Great.
All right, everybody. Let's all go out there and enjoy the heat.
Very good. Thanks, everybody.
See you later.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.